Fellas, today we're going to be talking about the most hated fighter groups in MMA. These are a certain type of fighter that most UFC fans really dislike. This isn't my personal opinion, this is just what I've found from listening to MMA fans, but this can be a certain group of fighters from a certain place. This can be fighters that behave a certain way, but we're going to be taking a look at the most hated fighter groups in MMA. Let me know if I missed any out, because I'm sure I've definitely missed some out, because, listen, there's pretty much this video could go endlessly, but I've started off with the first group of hated fighters, which for me, I've seen it ends up being Dagestanis. Personally, I don't have a problem with all of them, but they're genuinely viewed, especially from like a casual audience, as boring personalities and fight styles. They tend to get called Habib clones a lot, just these kind of robots of Habib who have the exact same style. And a lot of them do have the same style, to be fair. A lot of them are just grapplers, but there are obviously different ones as well. We've got Islam Makhachev, who's improved his striking massively. Sharaputin Magomedov is one of the only Dagestanis that can't even stuff a double leg takedown. Umar Nurmagomedov's willing to strike as well. So a lot of them actually do have different styles, but a lot of them have the same style. But Dagestanis are definitely hated a lot. A lot of them get called inbred. But yeah, these are definitely some of the most disliked. A lot of them are just, you know, casual MMA fans who only know they exist because of Conor McGregor, and you know, they're a little bit salty because McGregor lost to Habib, so now they want to insult every single Dagestani they see. And another reason is because they dominate most people's favourite fighters. Because, listen, say what you want about Dagestani fighters, and I'm not talking about the Abbas Magomedovs, but a lot of them just do tend to beat our favourite fighters. I mean, Islam Makhachev's a great example. Volkanovski and Oliveira, fan favourites. Both of them got finished by Islam. A lot of these Dagestani fighters are just coming up. Imagine Abbas Magomedov managed to beat Sean Strickland. That would have been another outrage as well. So a lot of these Dagestanis are just beating. I mean, when Umar Nurmagomedov was matched up against Corey Sandhagen, everyone was mad because we didn't want to see Sandhagen lose to Umar Nurmagomedov because we didn't think, you know, Nurmagomedov deserved it. But yeah, a lot of them, they're just called Habib clones, inbred, boring. Like I said, personally, I think, listen, there are Dagestanis out there that are boring, but there's fighters from every area of the world that are boring at the same time. I do think a lot of them are interesting. Like I said, Islam, Sharaputin, Umar Nurmagomedov. There's others as well. Even Muhammad Makhachev. I don't know if you want to count him as a Dagestani fighter or British, but if you can count Makhachev, actually no, Makhachev's probably not that interesting. I mean, he gets finishes, but he's probably not the most interesting, probably not the best example to use. But the point is, there are interesting fighters out there. Not every one of them is a Habib clone, but a lot of fans do tend to hate Dagestanis, especially when they beat their favourite fighters. The old, you know, inbred insult comes out. So I'm going to go with Dagestanis as being the first kind of group of fighter that are absolutely disliked and hated on. Is it worth being hated on? I mean, every fighter gets hated on, so it's obviously going to happen. But this is the first kind of group of fighters. Next group of fighters is the ones, and this has definitely become a lot more popular recently, the I want to be double champ. And I'm talking about the ones like Leon Edwards saying he wants to move up and fight the winner of Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis when he's only got one defense against Kamaru Usman, which was a close fight. Hasn't even beaten Covington yet. And yet, listen, middleweight's got too many contenders at the minute. We've got Khamzat Chimaev, who wants to fight for the belt. We've got Israel Adesanya fighting. We've got an up-and-coming Brendan Allen. We've got a lot of contenders in middleweight that want to fight for the belt. I don't think Leon Edwards, even if he beats Colby Covington, I don't think having two title defenses is worth going for double champ. I think to have double champ status, at minimum, you should have at least 3 title defenses on your resume. I think that just should be a minimum at the minute as well. And we've got Jamal Hill as well saying, you know, get ready Tom Aspinall. That's not exactly him saying he wants to fight for the belt immediately, but calling out Tom Aspinall when you've not even, well, you've become light heavyweight champ and then you've immediately lost it because you vacated it. You need to win the light heavyweight belt back, get a few defenses, and then go up to heavyweight. It's way too early to be calling people like Tom Aspinall out. That's like Pantoja calling out Sean O'Malley when he's only just got the belt off Brandon Moreno. Or Sean Strickland calling out Alex Pereira. I mean, that fight's already happened, so probably not the best example. But, you know, we've got Covington as well. I'm not sure if he's serious, but he's also saying he wants to fight the winner of Sean, or he's saying he wants to fight for the middleweight belt eventually because he thinks Sean Strickland's an easy fight. Khamzat Chimaev is another great example. Khamzat Chimaev saying he wants to fight Alex Pereira for the belt. And I'm like, Hamza, what division do you want to stay at? Because originally it was welterweight. He wanted to fight Usman for the welterweight belt. Obviously, that was when Usman was champion. Beats Gilbert Burns. Then he misses weight against, well, it was supposed to be Nate Diaz. Then he moves up to middleweight, and now we're all assuming that he's going to go for the middleweight belt. You know, he's got 1 win at middleweight. You know, it was against a welterweight, to be honest. It was against Kamaru Usman. And now he's calling out Alex Pereira for the light heavyweight belt. Again, you don't deserve the light heavyweight shot. There's too many fighters in the way. There's what's his name? Magomed Ankalaev, Johnny Walker's up and coming. Jamal Hill deserves a title shot when he comes back. There's just too many names at light heavyweight. And even then, you've not even become the champion. You've not even become a champion full stop. You need to become the middleweight champion. You need to go out there and beat... Who's the middleweight champion right now? You need to go out there and beat the winner of Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis. Not even that you deserve a shot. You should have to beat Adesanya before you get a title shot. Never mind one just yet. So, yeah, just fighters that want to become double champ when they've got no defenses. Some of them don't even have a belt to hold to call out the next champion. So, these are just a group of fighters that are genuinely disliked. Win your belt first and then go up to the next division. But people aren't the massive fan of these types of fighters. Next one, female fighters. Now, before I say this, there's a reason I don't include female fighters in my videos. I've seen a lot of people in the comment section asking me, why don't you include female fighters for your lists? Why is this? I've got two reasons. First of all, I did do a poll not long ago. Well, I say not long ago, it was about 2 months ago. I basically asked, do you want to see women MMA, you know, in my videos? The majority of them voted no. Second of all, again, a lot of the casuals, or not even just casuals, a lot of fans in general, just don't really care for women MMA. People call it a piss break. People say it's a break from the... People say it's just... Because they're viewed so inferior to men in terms of skill, you know, it kind of just seems like a bit of a street fight. And I'm not saying that... Listen, there are some women out there who genuinely put on amazing fights. I mean, we just had Jessica Andrade at UFC 295. Zhang Weili as well. There's obviously women out there that obviously put on interesting fights. But a lot of them do tend to be kind of boring, kind of just pinning against the cage. The striking, there's not much knockouts in women in MMA because obviously there's not much power in the women. And a lot of fans just don't really care for women MMA in general. You go to under like a YouTube comment section, even on TNT Sports, they posted the absolute banger of the fight at the women's fight that happened at UFC 295. A lot of the comments were just there like, who cares about this? It's a women's fight. Why are they posting women fights? So they do get a lot of disrespect. Personally, I'll always be interested if it's a fun women's fight, like a Zhang Weili or a title fight, or it's, you know, if it's Amanda Nunes beating up a woman that's going to a slaughterhouse because the opponent is absolutely terrible. But in general, I wouldn't really say that I'm as... Obviously, I'm nowhere near as a big as fan of women MMA as I am of men's MMA, if you know what I mean, which I think everyone can agree with. But yeah, female fighters, genuinely kind of disrespected, viewed as kind of the worst version of like men fighters. But yeah, that's another kind of fighter group that people hate. And the final one I've got is inactive fighters, and not just inactive fighters that are out because of an injury or even just ones that are chilling. Inactive fighters that are always on Twitter talking about this opponent and that opponent. And I've got 4 people on screen who are great examples of this. We've got John Jones. Listen, I know we got injured. I know we got a pretty bad injury as well. So I'm not going to say him pulling out the fight with Stipe is terrible, but taking 3 years off just to move to heavyweight. And then he hasn't fought since, what was March this year, and he's probably not going to be fighting until summer next year. John Jones, whether it's his fault, whether he has control. I mean, a lot of the times he did have control, but he just started taking steroids, doing all these things to get him suspended from MMA. He's one of the most inactive fighters. Paulo Costa, he went from fighting multiple times a year, and I'm pretty sure he fought once in 2021, once in 2022. He hasn't fought in 2023. I know he got an elbow injury, but still, this guy's always out of the octagon as well. Conor McGregor, a big example. When is this guy going to return? Fair enough not fighting in 2020, or not 2020, fair enough not fighting for the rest of 2021 or 2022 because you were injured. But 2023, your leg was fully healed at this point. You were back in the octagon. Genuinely, what was the problem? I tell you the problem, it was USADA. Conor McGregor didn't want to get caught by USADA. Now the entire 2023 has gone. The earliest we're asking him to come back is UFC 300, which is like, what, March, April of 2024. He's now said he's not going to be able to fight on that, or at least his coach has, because of another injury. Conor McGregor is an extremely inactive fighter, and the fact that he's calling out so many people, he's calling out complete fighters from completely different weight classes. Alexander Volkanovski, Islam, the current champion, no, not the current champion, but his current opponent, that's meant to be his current opponent, Michael Chandler. Back at middleweight, Sean Strickland. He's calling out everyone. I understand a lot of them, they just are jokes, but when is this guy going to get back in the octagon? When is he going to get a fight booked? I don't know. Hamzat Chimaev fought in, what was it, September of 2022, then only just came back in October, and now he's going to be out for a while again because of an injury. So I just hate inactive fighters that talk a lot on Twitter, and I think a lot of the MMA fans do. Like, if you're injured and if you're not able to fight, why are you calling everyone out? I get you just trying to stay relevant, but just shut up, you know what I mean? Like, if you're willing to fight and you're ready to sign a contract, fair enough. But if you're not, and if you know you're going to be out for another year or a few months, don't start talking trash to fighters, because the MMA is going to move. The MMA is not going to be in the same place that it was when you were calling them out. So those are just a group of fighters, in my opinion, or not even just in my opinion, but that I've seen that MMA fighters do tend to hate. Let me know if I did miss anyone out, because I know that this is a group that can be very, there's a lot of answers you can go for this, but these are the 4 that stood out for me. Let me know your thoughts. Like I said, if there's any I missed out, let me know. Do you agree with the ones that were in this video? Personally, I think a lot of them had to be agreed with. I mean, a lot of them are definitely hated, but yeah, thank you for watching anyway.